Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Saturday, Breeders' Cup Day at Del Mar, and we're going to have two of these podcasts for today. One that looks at the first 5 races, and then the other that looks at the late pick 4 leading into the Classic. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. And Jim, let's jump right into it. All of these are grade 1s. This is the 14 Hands Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies at 1 mile and a 16th. It's the 4th race on the card. And did you have a strong opinion here?
I do have a fairly strong opinion here. I mean, as strong as opinion as I've got in any of the races today. I mean, they're all tough, especially when we get down to those turf races with the Europeans. But Moonshine Memories is my pick here. I thought that Chandelier win over Alluring Star, who's also going to get some support in here, the 9-horse, was very impressive because Alluring Star had every reason to go wire to wire. She got an easy lead, and Moonshine Memories just set on her, set right off her flank and just blew right by her. So I think that race tells me Moonshine Memories is sitting on another big race here. She's 3 for 3 in her career, and I just think that that race at Santa Anita sets her up perfectly for this one. I could use Alluring Star in here. Heavenly Love, the 1-horse, proved her class on the dirt in the Alcibiades at Keeneland, and I didn't use her that day because coming off the turf race at Kentucky Downs, she was so impressive. I thought, why are they putting her on the dirt? And they knew what they were doing because she won the Alcibiades by 5.5. Her buyer speed figure was not great. The track wasn't particularly fast that day, but I think you can make a case for her. I think you can make a case for separation of powers. I hate the post position for the Presette winner, but Chad Brown is amazing, so I never throw him out on a big day like this. Princess Warrior, the 3, I think she's a live long shot coming out of the Alcibiades. She was well regarded. She went off as a favorite there. And she got up in the stretch and just was not good enough to beat Heavenly Love, but she may like Del Mar a little bit better. So I would use her in there as well, but Moonshine Memories is 7 is my pick in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
I think the way I'm going to bet this is a 4-horse exacta box and take the top 2 out of the Santa Anita prep and the top 2 out of the Keeneland prep. And you'll, if Princess Warrior gets in the top 2, you'll get a good price with any of the rest of them. But for the win pick, I ended up trying Alluring Star. I looked at the way Baffert worked this filly after the race last time and went back and watched it, and Moonshine Memories did go by her pretty easily. But I liked the way that Alluring Star just ran on and didn't throw in the towel and kept running hard all the way through the wire. And then since then, Baffert has put her in a workout pattern that looks to me designed maybe to build some stamina. So she's 1 for 1 at Del Mar, so I'm going to try Alluring Star, get a better price than I will on Moonshine Memories. But I like her, I like Heavenly Love, and I like Princess Warrior, all 4 of those. And not a whole lot of difference, really. So I'm going to play those 4 in an exacta box. And if I'm doing multi-race wagers, I'm going to use all 4 of them. The other 2 Cassies are big prices and might be worth a look. Geo Game, and then the one that's coming in from Woodbine is worth a look as well. But I think those 4 are pretty strong. The 2 coming out of the Santa Anita prep and the 2 out of the Keeneland prep. 5th race is the Turf Sprint, and whereas last year at Santa Anita it was 6.5 furlongs down the hill, here it's 5 furlongs, and they get to that turn pretty quick, and then it's a short stretch. So I ended up going with the favorite here, Lady Aurelia. I just have always loved her when she's run at Keeneland, and she's a true Grade 1/Group 1 horse. She's a 3-year-old facing boys, so this is no easy chore. But I'm going to say that she's from that 3 post, she can sit right off the speed and get the first run on them, and I think that makes her look solid in here. I think Pure Sensation makes the lead from the outside with her speed, and her stablemate, Disco Partner on the rail, is going to probably be a lower price, but I think Pure Sensation is live at a price with her speed, and if she can clear him here. Holding Gold for a long shot, who won at Keeneland in the spring, and I've been chasing this horse all summer, so I'm not going to let him beat me now at a huge price, so I'm going to have him on tickets as well. So those are the 3 I like most. The Euros, Marcia, Washington, D.C., I can't get too fired up about those. Washington, D.C. maybe running late could get a piece, but I like Lady Aurelia in here. How about you?
I agree with you, but I also use Marcia because she beat Lady Aurelia at York in the Nunthorpe Stakes, and came back and didn't run as well at Longchamp, but at Chantilly rather, Longchamp race at Chantilly on Arc Day. but she's still very classy, and she obviously proves she can beat Lady Aurelia at 5 furlongs. Shipping over to the United States is a minus. Lady Aurelia has gone back and forth a number of times. So I'm with her. The 5 furlongs seems to suit her, and the 3 hole is going to be perfect for her. So I'm with her as well. Pure Sensation, if he didn't draw the 12, I might be on him, but I think that 12 hole is going to it's going to take a lot for Kendrick Carmouche to get to the lead, but that's what he's got to do with him. And I'm going to throw in a crazy long shot. Mongolian Saturday is going to be the forgotten horse in here. And the numbers, he's run 88s and 90s, but, he jumped up and won the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. And they're putting Giroux back on him, and he just has a look about him to me that might be worth a shot to put him underneath. I think Lady Aurelia is a solid win bet, but I'm going to throw Mongolian Saturday in there in my exactas and tries.
Let's go to the filly and mare sprint, 7 furlongs, and Unique Bella's a big favorite in here. 3-year-old's never won this race, so she's bucking that history. You going to try to beat the favorite?
I am. I think that's a true historic fact that needs to be considered because she's running against older here and some really good older mares and fillies. So I went with Finley's Lucky Charm. She fought back in the Honorable Miss over Paula Silver Lining, and Paula Silver Lining went up beating her, but I think Finley's Lucky Charm could be a kind of a sneaky good price there with that race in her pocket. And I mean, if you watch that stretch drive in the Honorable Miss, and then, of course, Finley's Lucky Charm came back and won the TCA at Keeneland very impressively. So I think that there's a good shot that Finley's Lucky Charm is going to be right there on the wire. She hadn't finished worse than second in 2 years. So I think she's going to be a little bit of price. Unique Bella, you got to use her. She's 5 for 5 in the last 2 years, or the last year as well, and 1 for 1 at Del Mar. So obviously she's a must use. So she'll be my second choice in here. Paula Silver Lining has a shot. Another horse in here that may get overlooked in the betting is Karina Mia. Castellano rides her. He's fit her well, and she won the. She hasn't won a Grade 1 since the Acorn last year, but she's been right there. She was a neck off at Belmont. She was a length off Ballerina at Saratoga. She's always there. She's always classy, and they were talking about her last year as being as good as Songbird, and she obviously turned out not to be that good, but she's classy, and she's going to be right there, and she may get overlooked at a good price. And then Sky Diamonds, I'm going to throw in there as well. 5 for 6 this year and 2 for 2 at Del Mar, just the home court advantage. And Sky Diamonds looked very good last time out at Del Mar, and is very consistent and has could stalk from that outside post and has a shot. But I'm going to go with Unique Bella running a second or third here to Finley's Lucky Charm.
I end up going to Constellation. I'm going to try to beat the favorite, too. Constellation's first time in the Baffert barn. That's a 29% angle. And at 15-1 price looks awfully nice for a horse that goes into a barn that can certainly move them up. And I think she's a good 7 furlong horse. She ran well at that distance here at Keeneland in the spring. So I'm going to try her. I think the defending champ, Finest City's dangerous in here. And 2 of the ones you mentioned, Sky Diamonds and Finley's Lucky Charm. One ticket I might play is to box those 4 and just try to get Unique Bella out of the top 2, because if you can, I think the exacta would be very nice, very juicy. And if she doesn't run to expectations, then I could easily see 2 of those 4 finishing in the top. So I'm going to pick Constellation, but I'm going to use Unique Bella, Sky Diamonds, Finley's Lucky Charm, and Finest City with her. 7th race, and by the way, I should go back and mention on that turf sprint, that starts a middle of the card pick 4. 7th race starts the Ultra Pick 6, and it's the filly and mare turf, and it's only 1 1/8 miles here at Del Mar. That's shorter than this race has ever been. I think it goes through Chad Brown here. I think Lady Eli or Grand Jeté, and I'm going to take Grand Jeté. I think her Beverly D race would win this, and I think had she won the Beverly D, might well be the favorite here. And with a good trip, I think she might have won that by open lengths. I think she's going to be better at 1 1/8 miles than she was at the longer distances. And I'm going to take her to edge her stablemate Lady Eli. I'll probably play both of those on top over some include some prices on the second leg. I think Wahida who was supposed to run in the QE2 here and had a little issue and didn't get to run. Queen's Trust, the defending champion, Rhododendron, 3 of the Euros. I like. Cambodia loves this track, so I'm going to look at her as well. But I'm going to take Grand Jeté over Lady Eli in the filly and mare turf. How about you?
Well, I'm going to go with Chad Brown as well. I think Chad Brown's got a chance to run 1, 2, 3 or 1, 3, 4 or whatever, and he's got more than one chance to win. Lady Eli would be my pick here. She's going to be the obvious favorite. A lot of people are going to single her in the start of the pick 6 just to keep their tickets affordable. I don't know. I'd love to see her win. I'm a very sentimental choice here, and she's always there. She's going to be at the wire. She may get knighted out, but she's always there, and hopefully she rises to the occasion. Rhododendron won on Art Day, but it was on soft ground, so I'm not sure how much she's going to like the firm ground she's going to catch at Del Mar. Wahida is my long shot in there. I'm surprised you mentioned her, but I thought that she was probably going to be 3 to 5 that day in the QE2 off her European form, and she didn't run there, and now she ships over here, and she's 20 to 1 morning line. No way she's going off at that, but I think she will get overlooked with some of the other big-name horses in here. And the one you didn't mention, the Chad Brown horse that I think has a real shot is Decita. Talked about the Beverly D. She won the Beverly D over Grand Jeté, and then she came back and ran a second in the Flower Bowl when she was much the best. She got a wide trip, and she should have won that over Grand Jeté, who she beat by just about a little bit, and then she lost by a head to War Flag. So I'm going to put Decita in there. I think Rosario is riding so well right now, and the first time he's been on this mare for Chad, and I think Chad's got 3 real shots here with the horse that you liked and the 2 horses that I liked.
Last one we're going to take a look at to wrap up this first podcast is the 8th race on the card, the Sprint at 6 furlongs. Got the defending champ Drefong in here. Do you think you can beat him?
I think he's beatable. I think when I first looked at it, a lot of people were talking about Drefong and possibly Bodoro as the singles in the pick 6. And, if Drefong runs his last race, he probably wins this. But I went back and watched the Bing Crosby. And, of course, he threw his jock there. He made a left-hand turn into the fence and then wound up running the race by himself without Mike Smith. And he totally screwed up the whole race. Wasn't his fault. He was doing what he's bred to do. But when watching that race, I wound up looking at a horse named Roy H. And Roy H. was severely compromised by Drefong and went 6 wide in the stretch and got beat by Ransom of the Moon by a length and a half. Came back and won at Santa Anita in the sprint challenge. I'm not sure what Santa Anita Sprint Challenge. I guess it's a grade 1 that used to, that's been run for a long time. They just changed the name of it, but got a 106 buyer. So you wipe out the race that he got compromised by Drefong. He's got a 106, 111, and 106, and very impressive. And I think Roy H. has got a big shot here. And the other horse that I like is it may be a surprise. Takaful has blossomed as a sprinter after they took him off the Triple Crown Trail. McLaughlin tried him in the Fountain of Youth. He just didn't run a step behind Gunnevera, and they figured out he might not want to run a mile and 16th. So he's gone 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, and 6 furlongs last 3 times out with 105, 101, and 107 buyer. And that last one, particularly in the Vosburg, he was very impressive. I'm going to use Takaful. And then Imperial Hint on the outside. I'd like him a lot more if he wasn't in the 10-hole, but he's got a lot of speed, and JJ's going to send him from the outside. So this is going to be a nice race. Sprint's always wide open, but I don't think Drefong's a single here. I think there are some other horses that have shots, and Roy H. would probably be my one if I try to beat Drefong.
Yeah, I think one of those 4 wins it. I took Imperial Hint off that big 109 buyer figure last time, and over the years it seems like the form out of the Park Sprint races coming into the Breeders' Cup Sprint has held up pretty well. Those horses have come back and run well. Drefong drawn down on the inside, I think that makes him a little vulnerable with the post draw. And Roy H., I think, is a very strong contender. I didn't put Takaful on the write-up that I made. I picked the top 3 for the Keeneland Select newsletter that goes out. but Tackleful's was very much under consideration as well. So those are the four. I think one of those four wins it, and I don't think you're going to get a big price in this race. But I ended up taking Imperial Hint. Best of luck with your wagers in the first part of the Breeders' Cup card. There's a pick four still to talk about, and we'll do that in a separate podcast for the Saturday Breeders' Cup card. This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.